Even thinking about you guys, how much did that motivate you coming into this?
You better send those refunds.
I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. We ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. We ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. Back-to-back champs, kings of the north with it. Thinking they can hang with us, still ain't jumped out the porch with it. Long bomb to chase every Sunday, watch him go and get it. Double up on him, then we gon' double down on T. Higgins. Then throw Boyd in the mix, now you really iffy. Every Sunday showing boys how to really gritty. They try to shuffle up the game on us, but they ain't icky. Flip the coin, kick the toe right to the go and get it. Never know what's gonna happen when Joe drop back. He get shiesty in the pocket, I get shiesty on the track. Nobody on the team all pro, that's all cap. Most all around team in the NFL, that's all fact. Ain't came across nobody yet that seem like they can hang with us. They said we couldn't be Buffalo, but see how we call they bluff. Underdogs every week, they keep on trying to label us. Put your money on us, even if Vegas don't favor us. No matter what, we really came up, now it's hard to fail. I dare you come across that middle, Von gon' ring your bell. I know we under they skin, them boys built frail. Eli Apple out there chirping like a next tail. You don't want Salmon Trey to come off them ends. Rita clogging up the middle like a big body Benz. Right behind them Logan and Pratt, the turnover twins. Jesse Bates in the backfield just to clean up the loose ends. We just drafted Cam and drafted Hill. Instant gratification every time that they on the field. We can't go back to what we was, cause that's the loser way. It's been hard to throw on us since we picked up a Woozier. It's like win after win, feel like we could really do it. Zach Taylor doing his thing for the city, I give it to him. And I bet Samaji will find a hole if you give it to him. Hayden Hurst don't need a hole, he just plan on running through him. Just hand it off to 28 and let him do the dash. Getting hit by BJ Hill probably feel like a car crash. Every week it seem like Lou digging deeper in his bag. And if the game on the line, all my favorite money match. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. And we ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. And we ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up.
What do we say, Dolph?
They gotta play us! I love the ending of that. They gotta play us. What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. This is Bengals Talk with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trennepohl. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of, we know, the greatest quarterback in the NFL and the back-to-back AFC North champion Cincinnati Bengals. Now, do me a favor. If you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. You guys are awesome. I'm up to 2,168 subscribers. As always, I appreciate every single one of you guys. If you watch on Facebook or Twitter and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, why not? Please do so. Please go to the YouTube channel, Bengals Talk with Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for the notification every time I go live. You'll be notified. Also, exclusively in the YouTube chat crew, we're doing super chats. So if you got something for the Godfather, and you know why I call him the Godfather, he is the originator of the Bengals podcast. He's Anthony Casenza. He's AC. You got something you want to ask him, give me a super chat. Or if you want to just support the show, give me super chat. I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, I'm coming to you from this glorious place down here, the Ice Cave. And the Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And you know what? Like I said, the greatest quarterback in the league, Jackpot Joey. I wear this stuff every single day. If you want any of the hats, the hoodies, the flags, go to jackpotjoey9.com. If you want any of the beer, you got to go check out Brink Brewery. It is delicious and award-winning beer. And portions of the proceeds from everything you buy go to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund. Plus, we got the golf outing come out. And there might be a cornhole tournament coming out here soon at Brink Brewery. You know, we're trying to do our part to help out the Joe Burrow Fund. So make sure you do yours. Drink some beer, wear some cool stuff, and you help people out. Anyway, what's up to everybody in the chat? Oh, my goodness, you guys are blowing it up. I freaking love it. This is a first. Stranger was not first. Greg Graves, you were first. Congratulations, buddy. You're first. Foxy's in there. Nick's in there. Cam's in there. Or Ken's in there. Sorry. Lindsay's in there. Crypt Keeper, what's up? Richard, Crown. My boy Crown is there. Cincy James is in there. Somebody talking about the Steelers is in there. We'll ignore that dude. Anyway, let's get to the reason we all are here. And like I said, this Bengals podcast thing started with the guy I'm about to bring on to. He's the Godfather, Anthony Casenza. What's up, AC?
What's going on, Jeff? How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Good. You like that nickname. I know you.
I mean, it's flattering. It is flattering in so many ways. And I always try and say there's maybe a couple of others that trailblazed a little bit before me, but I still appreciate the name. Otherwise, you're rocking the draft lid, my man. I've got mine getting sent to me en route here. So I'm waiting to get. I got the white one, though. I got the white hybrid. Yeah, I got the white one.
Well, this is the fitted one too. This is the one they got at the pro shop. So like I went down because I was going to buy it online, and like my buddy Dale from Bengals and Brews, he put on a group chat. I was like, "Oh, these are out. I'm gonna get the white one." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." And I started looking around. I'm like, "Ooh, they got black ones." Now look how much they were. I'm like, let me call the pro shop here. Let's see when they coming in. So at first they said they weren't in, and then they tweeted out that they were in. I called them back like, "You got them?" They're like, "Yeah." I said, "You got the black ones?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, I only lived, 15 minutes from the pro shop, so I drove down there and got it, and I beat Dale to it. He was a little jealous. It's okay.
There you go. It's got to be a yearly tradition for me now. Get the draft, draft hat is for the year, and go from there. I like it. I have a lot of the black hats, so I went with the white one. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out.
Dude, anyway. I have such a hard time because I wear hats all the time. I have a hard time keeping the white hats clean because I got the white Jackpot Joey hat. I got like 3 of those things. And I've scrubbed those things and scrubbed those things. I'm like, God, I can't keep them clean. So I mean, I'm not good at keeping hats clean. I wear them too much, man. So that's why I'm like, I'm getting the black one. But I like the Bengal head on it though. Don't you like that?
Yeah, they transitioned. Yes, they're transitioning back to that. It seems. I like it.
I hope so. I mean, I don't hate the B. I like the B.
It's my least favorite of the. Personally speaking, it's the least favorite of mine.
I don't. It's okay. I like the Leaping Tiger. I think everybody likes the Leaping Tiger the best. Mm-hmm. And then it's this one, and then it's probably the B. Where everybody's at. Yeah. Where are you at? You like the Bengal head?
I like the face. I like the Bengal
face?
head. Yeah. I like the Bengal head the best, and then Leaping Tiger, and then the B is way down the pecking order for me. I do get it. Cool. I get it. The B, not only Bengals, but obviously Brown. Brown for the Brown family, Blackburn. I mean, I get there's a lot of significance with the letter and whatnot, but to me, it's a little boring compared to the other two.
All right. So the Bengals did some as a free agency news this week. We signed a cornerback. We signed a tight end. Where are you at on the Bengals offseason? I mean, me personally, I think I keep saying it's a solid offseason. It's like a B minus. I mean, Orlando Brown is a freaking home run, grand slam, whatever it said. The rest of them, it's kind of, I like them. I'm not disappointed. I wish we could have kept Bell. That would have been nice. But where are you at on the Bengals in the offseason? And do you think they're done with a free agent yet?
They might bring in they worked out, so they've had like a busy third week of free agency already, right? I mean, they've signed 2 guys that were outside free agents. They re-signed Trent Taylor. They worked out 2 guys, and then here they are doing the owners meetings as well. So I mean, they've had a busy week for the third week of free agency, and this is kind of when the Bengals usually like to strike and get those kind of fun deals. I'd have to go back and look exactly to see exactly when Larry O and Hayden Hurst kind of signed those rental deals, but those were kind of further down the line. I don't think they were this far down the line, but those were further down the line. Those were guys that are quality players that just didn't get in that first wave of free agency, and then you got the Bengals coming in there and saying like, hey, we'll give you a lucrative 1-year deal, or we've got an opportunity for you, 1-year deal to play with Joe Burrow, to play in this team that has made 2 AFC championships and 1 Super Bowl in the last 2 seasons. Even if we're your stepping stone to your next contract, which some guy, it's been that way for some guys.
The tight ends,
Larry O, and
Larry O too. Casey, I mean, CJ, Hayden, Larry O. I mean, all of them went off the bigger contracts, though.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's the stepping stone type of thing, it's like, hey, we're gonna squeeze what we need out of you this year at least, and maybe it'll parlay into something good. I really like, in a lot of ways, how they've rebounded in free agency, because I think initially it was like, man, the hits just kind of keep on coming. Yeah, Pratt to me was a nice surprise to retain him. It sounded and seemed like he was going to be a guy that. And I hate doing the deal where you try and read through like cryptic tweets and stuff. You're like, dude, who knows what the hell Well, yeah, you're like, who really knows what the hell he was actually talking about and some of that stuff.
It's all blood drips. It's all blood drops.
Right. And so you're like, and a lot of people are like, oh, he's gone.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought he was.
I thought it was going to be a financial thing, not so much like a respect thing or whatever you want to call it. I thought it was going to be just again, not a premium position for the Bengals that they give super high money to.
Well, and it's also one of our deeper positions on the team, to be honest. I mean, it is.
Right. And it was a manageable deal. So I like that. Bell was a bit of a surprise, but what we've seen, Jeff, and this is kind of my take with it, is number one, they were not satisfied with the offensive line despite overhauling it last year. I love that mentality.
Yes.
And number two, I know it's tough. It's tough to see Jesse Bates go, predictable. Yeah. It's tough to see Von Bell go. That was not predictable, but still who they're keeping, who they're bringing in are still guys that are not going to be or will not sniff 30 years old, really, was the end of whatever contract they signed with the Bengals. And it's still younger, faster guys. And I think they're going to rely on more on that in the draft.
Yeah, everybody they've signed, their wheelhouse is 25 to 27. If you're there, you're in the Bengals wheelhouse. That's what they want to get. Now, my concern is, like I said, Bell surprised me. I thought we could keep him. Having two new safeties, a second-year player, and I mean, Mike Smith is a not Smith. What's his name?
Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah. He's a veteran. He's been around, played in the Super Bowl, played against the Bengals. How big an issue is that? Because I think they're gonna be good. I don't know if they're be Jesse Bates, Von Bell good. Where are you at on that?
They will not be, I don't think. And that's not an indictment. I mean, Dax Hill could come in and surprise us and play play very well in the second year. You could have a nice rotational guy in there and Tyson Anderson. But I think, again, and this is so cliche and such an old NFL adage, but like, Jeff, man, if you can shore up your pass rush, if you can get more rotational pass rush help, if the Bengals can find another guy to pair with DJ Reed or BJ Hill in there to get more, basically find that formula that you had in 21, which
you need
was
to find a
Reeder,
replacement
Hill,
for Larry
O. Yes.
Yeah.
You find that.
Yeah.
You find that, and then maybe Joseph Osai takes another step and you add another piece in the draft there. If you're able to increase and better your pass rush, take away pressure the quarterback, all that kind of stuff, it forces more error prone throws and all kinds of different things to make the secondary look good. So, there's, unfortunately, this is what happens when you're a good team. You're going to have to pick and choose. You're going to have this give and take in terms of, like, we're going to lose some quality guys. That's going to happen because teams are going to come after them. And so you're not going to have,
when you're a good team.
Yeah, you're not going to have a perfect roster from top to bottom, but what you're going to do is you're going to need to say, okay, well, we're going to be this year, we're going to be really adept here and here. And if the Bengals are able to take that next step on the offensive line with Orlando Brown Jr., maybe whoever the hell is going to play right tackle, if they're going to take that next step as an offensive line, I think that's a trade-off you'd make.
Right.
Given how close the Bengals have been, regardless of all the injuries and different stuff that have happened over the last couple of years, and the Achilles heel has continued to be that offensive line. So if the offensive line takes the step, I think, you've got talent in a lot of other places where you can say, hey, we should be right back in the big games again towards the end of the year.
Exactly. Now, going off what we said with 3-tech here, we had Street come in. Mike S. here says that, are they going to pick up a D tackle? Are we going to go D tackle? We're going to go interior? Because we had a couple guys come in this week. I mean, I want an interior guy, to be honest. I wanted somebody to pick up Larry O. Where are you at on Street? And I can't remember the other guy's name that came in this week, to be honest.
Contavious Street. Well, it's Terrell Basham was the other guy from Ohio. Yeah.
Street. Yeah.
Basham's a guy that's kind of had, moments of some good play here and there in the NFL, but hasn't found a home with really anyone. I think he's got in 3 years, 12 sacks, something like that. So, I mean, he can
lose guys, aren't they? Those are loose guys looking for a home.
Yeah. I mean, you would think that maybe that's a rotational, but he's more of an edge guy. And then you've got Street, who was a guy that I think he was a pretty sought after player in the draft. And then he got injured, I think at his pro day. So he was a guy that, ended up falling to the fourth round. I think the Niners had him for a while. He's another guy that's kind of had some nice moments in the NFL. Nothing, absolutely earth-shattering, but a guy that could be a decent depth piece. They need to find additional interior pass rush help, though. I think, despite the way the Chiefs game ended last year with Joseph Osai and the whole thing with it, I think you started to see some sparks there towards the end of the year.
Oh, Joseph Osai played really good.
Yeah.
Yes.
You saw some nice things from him.
Yes.
And then, you've got Cam Sample still in the mix. Zachary Carter, maybe he takes a nice step the next year or two, but you have to have another guy in the middle to be able to consistently bring pressure from the interior of the defensive line. And I don't know if that's going to come from a Contavious Street. I don't know if that's going to come from potentially the Bengals going in the draft early. A Kalijah Cansey, who had an amazing pro day.
That's my dude.
He had an amazing pro day again here on Wednesday. I think the RAS got him to 9.6 or something out of 10. So he looks pretty good.
He ain't gonna be there 28.
I don't think so either. But dude, you know what? We say that every year.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, we do. We do
About somebody. No, there's no way that guy's gonna be here. There's no way he's gonna be here. And somebody is there every time we say that. So I don't know.
I had a question for you with that. And me and Dale talk about this on Bengals and Brews, my channel here. If Darnell Wright is there or Cansey's there at 28, they're both sitting there. Anthony Casenza, the Godfather. You are the Bengals GM. Who are you taking?
Darnell Wright is the tackle out of Tennessee, right?
Yep.
Is that and of course the Kalijah Cansey, the interior lineman from Pitt.
Yeah,
I would go with Cansey, and I wouldn't think too hard about it really, because here's why. That's a tougher, potentially a tougher position to nail and to get in this year's class specifically. I feel like right tackles, you could potentially get one into the second round. You may need to move back up into the second round or whatnot if you need to get one. They do need a long-term answer there, that's for sure.
Right. So you're saying Jones could be there at 60?
Maybe. I mean, stranger things have happened, right? I mean, guys just fall, and we say this every year because we think we are so certain that we can be an NFL GM, and there's no way that guy's going to be there. There's no way. How could they pass him up? Remember the kid? Do you remember the kid in the Joe Burrow draft 2020?
Yeah.
He was the kid, the tackle out of University of Houston. Jones.
Yes. I want to
Josh Jones.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, he's going to be there. He was going to be where they picked T. Right. That was the deal.
He was there.
And he fell all the way through night two. I think he finally got drafted at the end of night 2 in the third round. And people are going, what the hell happened to this kid? He was supposed to be a first round pick. Well, that's a prime example of right. We don't know what we don't know. Some teams don't view players the same way as us as fans or us that cover the team or what have you. View them, we just wear different glasses sometimes on certain players. So at any rate, that's a prime example. I think there could be a player in the second round where somebody could, you could find as a right tackle option. But again, the Bengals need to figure out what the hell they're doing there, because now you've got, I said this on my show yesterday, you've got kind of a good problem and a bad problem at right tackle. You've got a lot of options, but you got short-term contracts, people who don't want to be there, guys coming off of injuries, and then other guys that have been fringe starters, not great long-term.
Wait! You don't think Cody Ford is the answer at right tackle?
Well, I think he's an answer.
Is he the answer?
If Williams is gone, Collins is on PUP, the Bengals don't, invest a high pick in right tackle, then Cody Ford's probably going to be a guy that starts a couple of games for you towards the beginning of the year. But I don't know that I'm fully comfortable with that, because he hasn't played that position in the NFL since his rookie year, I think.
Right, exactly. I mean, the funny thing, I've had a couple people come at me on Twitter like, we've got Collins. He's going to be at right tackle. I'm like, dude, he's not going to be ready. I mean, maybe he will be, but it would be a miracle if he's ready by the time the season starts. There's no way. I mean, he got injured at Christmas. I mean, LC's not gonna be. He's on the PUP. He's not gonna be ready till, I don't know, earliest October, November. So that whole narrative is like, that's not an option. That's where I keep going. Jonah Williams, brother, unless we draft a right tackle, get your butt at a right tackle and learn how to do it, because you're a best option.
Here's my take on Jonah Williams not wanting to play. This is just my personal theory.
What you got? That's what I keep telling him. Look how much glitch you got for the
40. Yeah. But here's my, and I don't want to plug whatever, but when we asked Orlando Brown, we talked to Orlando Brown, and it was
I know,
a lot of fun.
That's awesome. It was, by the way, that was awesome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
The StreamYard messed up at first, which the funny thing, I had the same problem when I had T. Higgins' mom's on. I had Mama T on. She was perfectly fine before I went live.
And then you go live, and of course.
Right. And then it's like, but you can't hear me. I'm like, okay. I saw this. When I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, it's saying that. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good. Anyway, just in that, he talks about the transition from right to left and left to right, playing different tackle spots. So my theory with that on Jonah Williams is not so much a pride, I'm not the left tackle, I'm now the right tackle type of thing. I think it's more, it would be experiencing potentially a heavy learning curve.
Yeah.
Or a somewhat heavy learning curve in a contract year. So if he struggles in that transition, there's already questions about his viability reportedly around the league as a long-term left tackle for a team.
Right.
And then you switch him to right in a contract year. He maybe is kind of playing catch up to transition to a different side that entire year. Maybe he doesn't play as well or all that well. And then he's seeking another contract. And then all of a sudden, that contract he could have had as a left tackle for a team after this year now gets dwindled down even more as a right tackle who maybe had potentially some struggles in a transition year. And I don't think he's about that. So I think it's actually more of a long-term thing for him and maximizing whatever his next contract would look like potentially. I think that may be kind of going through his mind. I'm sure there's other elements too, but that's just my conspiracy theory about it.
To me, Anthony, he's got no leverage. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you got no leverage. You unless the Bengals get their socks knocked off of them, I don't think they're trading them. I'm like, he's not going to sit out. He's owed what? Is he 12 million or is he 17?
Yeah, I think it's 12 and a half. I want to say.
Yeah, so like, and he ain't sitting out and just I don't need $12 million, $12.5 million. Like,
on paper right now, to get that money and to have what you would think an inside track at a starting tackle job with a team, you kind of feel like that's got to be one of his better options, particularly on a team. If it does well, if he ends up picking things up fast, he seems to be a sharp guy. Coaches love him, all that kind of stuff. So, you would think that there's a lot of where there's concern about him potentially making that transition. There's probably also, a theory where he could be a guy who picks it up faster than others. Right. Yeah. So, I think one of his better options right now is to take the money that he's guaranteed this year in that 5th year of his contract, potentially play right tackle, do what you can and go from there. But also, there may be a team on draft weekend because that frenzy kind of picks up again that weekend. And if a team comes in and says, hey man, we're going to give you a night 2 pick for in this draft.
Right. Yeah. In this draft.
For this guy, I think maybe the Bengals would listen to that, especially if maybe they see a run on players that they kind of liked at a certain stretch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think he's worth a second round pick. And I've said the same thing. I don't really don't think anything's happening with him until draft night. Let's get to some questions here because it's blowing up. And I appreciate you guys blowing the chat up. I'm trying to get to all, but Fiji here, it was at first. He said, what about Blackman? AC, good 3rd day pick.
Blackman, you gotta. We're talking about a lot of different.
Just throw it up there.
Are we talking about the USC kid?
He might be. I don't know. I was kind of hoping you knew.
Yeah, we'll go with
the USC kid. Go ahead.
Well, I think he's talking about. Is it Julian Blackman? Is that who he's talking about?
Yeah, that sounds right.
No, Julian Blackman. He's the kid. He's on the Colts. You got to give me another name on that. I got to look into that.
Try to type it in again there, Fiji. And let's see here. Jonas Hot. Oh yeah, Fleming. Christy James is like Wayne Fleming. Wynn Fleming. I'll get it right.
Oh, so Wynn. Oh yeah, I saw that one. So Isaiah Wynn has not been. To my knowledge, I looked it up a little bit ago. He's not been picked up here, so that's an interesting one. He is 27. I think he had a pretty good year. Was it last year? But there was kind of some bumps in the road along the way. So he's kind of an interesting guy out there too for a team. I think his asking price was pretty high, so he may now have to take a different kind of deal, maybe one of those rental deals, or maybe he's just going to kind of wait it out until after the draft and see what teams come calling if they don't get a tackle, right? There may be some teams that may be more inclined to come after him then. Fleming, again, it's at that point, I mean, I think they kind of did a little bit of that with Cody Ford. It's just kind of like, that's kind of maybe your stopgap or versatile backup kind of guy. So, I think at this point you got to find some form of a long-term option, and you got to commit to Jonah, Collins, a draft pick. I mean, you're going to have to make a commitment there.
Right. All right. Now he clarified here. Oops, shit, wrong one. He said, Mika Blackburn. Mackay. Thank you. Mackay Blackburn, for cornerback from USC from Colorado.
Yeah, so he is, the guy. Yeah, for USC from Colorado. Unfortunately for me, I have a really.
You're a USC dude. You love USC.
I know, but the defense was so poor this year.
Right.
And the defense gave up so many. I mean, when you look at the 2 losses to Utah that ended up derailing the season, you look at that unbelievable bowl loss to Tulane.
Right.
Caleb Williams. Now, Caleb Williams got hurt in that bowl game against Tulane, but he was, playing on one leg and just injured. But I mean, they had a lot of points scored. They had leads in games that they just absolutely let up. So to be honest with you, the only guy that I am really, really on fire about in terms of USC defenders is Thule, the defensive lineman. Yeah. And it's not to say that this kid isn't a good player. It's more just, man, the USC defense really the past couple of years were just was not very good. He's 5'11", about 180. So he's got a little bit of bulk on him. He ran a sub 4.5, which you like. The 10-yard split was 1.54. I mean, I think he's a guy that could be a decent rotational player, maybe a guy that comes in and can vie for some low depth, like a CB4 type of situation early on, type of thing with a team. I think he's got some skills. I do now readily remember this kid now. I think he's got some skills. I just am emotionally scarred from the USC defense.
But did Lincoln Riley have great defenses at Oklahoma? I think
no, he didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
You might have to get used to that, AC, man. He don't play defense. He's all offense.
Yeah. But a guy that he doesn't have great. He didn't show great strength at the combine. 11 reps. I will need to look up his RAS to see, kind of what that looks like there. But I mean, there's tools that you like, there's things that you like, he's got functional size and could be a guy that he's a guy that can come in immediately and kind of fill out the back end of your depth chart at the cornerback group and can do some different things for you. But again, I just saw how often that USC defense as a whole. And I know that doesn't really jive with what I'm saying with Thule either, but I mean, Thule was a game wrecker when you go look back. I mean, he was really the lone star on that defensive unit for the Trojans. But I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to Blackman. The value would have to be there. I'd probably say day 3 for him.
Day 3. Now I gotta put this up there. Steve's here talking about Jonah. He says he's not worth a second. I'd be happy with a bag of peanuts for him.
Oh, come on, Steve. Come on.
I know, he was an average left tackle. Like, if I kept telling everybody before we signed Orlando Brown, I was like, if Jonah is in the free agency market right now, he's probably your second best left tackle that was out there. I mean, am I wrong on that, AC? I mean, if
he was on this year's free agent market,
yeah.
Well, what are we considering Juwan Taylor at this point, right? I mean,
he was a right tackle. That's
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? And now he's playing left.
Yeah. Well, that's why I keep saying, Jonah, go play right. Hell, you can go play left maybe if you play good. I mean, that's
yeah. I am very, very interested. Not only just because of the whole what happened with Orlando Brown and everything. Mm-hmm. I'm very interested to see how Juwan Taylor performs in that role, because he played like every snap at right tackle.
Yep.
So that's a very interesting situation they've made for themselves there. But I mean, he'd probably be, technically one of the top left tackles on the open market this year. Would he have been available? I don't know that he would have gotten paid the same way as Orlando Brown or Twan Taylor, but I think teams would have came after him if he was a free agent. But again, and he claims he was, I guess, blindsided by the Orlando Brown signing. That's kind of the latest
they kept saying,
chatter.
I understand. They kept saying, well, the Bengals are blindsided that Orlando wanted to come to him. So I mean,
and he was available for what? Yeah, I mean, it just made a lot of sense for him. So they're like, hey, man, we feel this is an improvement. Yeah. And maybe because Jonah has been such a good teammate and locker room guy, they're saying, yeah, he's probably not going to really like this transition, but he'll roll with it and he'll make the best of it. And it didn't really maybe play out the way that the Bengals thought it would. But again, you got to improve that offensive line how you feel you can. And the Bengals feel that they made a very big improvement at left tackle. And they feel that potentially, if Jonah can play right tackle, that's just an all-around improvement on multiple spots of the offensive line.
So this is my thoughts on Jonah. Now I know going from left to right, you're doing everything the reverse. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy at all, but with his shorter arms, I think he has a better shot because they do move guys around, but most of your best pass rushers are coming from the left. And his biggest problem is he jumps out to go get guys, and then he's got to come back in, and you don't have the arms to get them. The right side, it might not be as big a deal. I don't know. That's what I'm getting from Centauri and Dale and all these guys. But that's where
that makes sense.
Might be a pretty good right tackle. It might be better there.
That makes sense. I mean, he hasn't played right tackle since being a freshman at Alabama, and there was some decent tape back then of him doing that. But again, it's just it's the transition. I mean, it sounds easier than it is from all kinds of different accounts that I've heard, read, listened to, etc. So, we'll see what happens with him. I think also, I see you pin that one from Foxy saying, I think we'll be able to only get a third at most for Jonah. I mean, unfortunately him putting that stuff out into the league that, hey, I want to be traded. Yeah. I want to be traded, that just unfortunately that decreases the net value you could get for him too. That's just kind of the realistic bottom line with it.
I'll try to get to Brandon's question here. He says, Ashawn Robinson. He says his short arms and he's really weak. So what's your thoughts on him?
On Ashawn Robinson?
Yeah.
Ashawn he's the former Bama guy, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Big old boy. 330.
Woo!
Man. I didn't realize he was already 28 though. Really? But a guy, hey, we saw as good as DJ Reader has been, we saw him go down with an injury last year God, remember the Browns game on Halloween where again, it was the Nick Chubb show again, no DJ Reader and Nick Chubb goes off.
So it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, again, this could be a guy that could come in there and be a nice nose option for the Bengals. I mean, I don't know that he would take a pretty big backup type of role because that is DJ Reader's spot. That's for sure. But to me, I go back to shoring up the trenches, and I know it stings to lose Jesse Bates. It stings to lose Von Bell. And you can.
But we got to get those trenches, man. We got to get pressure on the quarterback, and we got to protect Jack.
It's how you win. And if you look at you look at the two teams in the Super Bowl, and yes, the Bengals were right on the precipice of making it again themselves, even with an injured offensive line. But there are guys on the defensive line. Their stars still are taking a bit too many snaps, in my opinion. You're starting to see, Trey Hendrickson needing to come off the field a bit more and more, not only because of the wrist injury, but he's taking a lot of snaps. Sam Hubbard's taking a ton of snaps.
Well, they played a ton of games last two years. I mean,
they
probably one of the most, between them and the Chiefs, play the most games in the NFL the last 2 years, to be honest.
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand the sentiment with it and the idea with it, but you've also got Josh Tupou still under contract there, and that's a guy I've been very impressed with what he's been able to do, reserve nose tackle, and he's a guy that's kind of been a thorn in a lot of AFC North team sides. So for right now, I think it's more look for that 3-tech pass rushing type of, some smaller type of interior defensive lineman that is a bit more pass rush oriented because the Bengals, between Reader and Tupou, they've got that nose spot pretty well established.
All right, now the Bengals signed Sidney Jones this week. And I put this out there, and Crown's asking the same thing. He said, "Will the Bengals re-sign Apple?" I still think there's a possibility that they could re-sign Apple. Where's your thoughts on Eli Apple?
Well, I don't want to rain on him. I mean, the guy's got Apple in his name. He's asking about Eli Apple. I'm sure he's a really big Eli Apple fan. So I don't want to.
I think he's a fan of Crown Apple.
That's yeah. multiple meanings.
Multiple, yeah.
To me, I think that's. It's a sign that they are potentially moving on. Now, I know Eli and Lou Anarumo have the connection from back in New York, and there's, a lot there. And I have been really impressed with what Eli Apple has done. Has he been a perfect corner for the Bengals? No, but stepping in for, a couple of big corners that have been injured the last 2 years.
He wasn't supposed to be. So,
yeah. And stepping in and playing, kind of just carrying the baton, he came up with a couple of, the occasional big plays here and there, but kind of just carrying the baton and keeping the unit rolling on. I've been very impressed with him. But again, I think, while we've kind of romanticized some of these guys, Eli Apple, Jesse Bates, Von Bell, and rightfully so, because they've made big plays in big games and have been big reasons for, them getting to big games. But at the same time, again, the Bengals are operating a little bit more cold-blooded than they have in the past, where it's like, hey, man, young, speed, upside, athleticism. And, that's kind of where they went with Sidney Jones over Eli Apple. Now, might Eli Apple be a guy they call after the draft or in the summer or something if there's, God forbid, an injury, potentially. And maybe he comes back on a team-friendly type of deal. Yeah. Just kind of what he's been doing the last couple of years. Yeah. But right now, I think that's the direction the Bengals have chosen to go. They're going to see – I think they're going to draft a cornerback probably by the conclusion of night 2. Okay. And probably a long-term one. So I think at that point, that's probably where they're going to go. And if it doesn't work out that way, maybe then Apple gets a call to come back.
All right. Since James got another question here, says, all right, AC, your pick at 28. Tackle, cornerback, D-line, tight end. Where you got?
There's so many variables to this.
No,
here's my thing. I waver with taking what is, a consensus, third, fourth, fifth best tackle in the class,
right? Instead
of potentially taking the top player at a position, even if that positional value is less than an offensive tackle, an edge rusher, that sort of thing. I think you have to seek out value sometimes. So if you're looking at, let's just say for interesting, let's just say for example, that the Bengals are on the clock. They have, a couple of different options at these, at these positional groups, right. But they have what is the number 1 or number 2 tight end in the class staring him in the face, or the number 4 or 5 offensive tackle staring him in the face. And they maybe have not settled the Jonah, Lael Collins, whatever plan that they have there. I don't know, man. It'd be hard to sit there and say again, because tight end, even with the Irv Smith signing, tight end still is pretty bare. Yeah. It'd be hard, not just player value as opposed to positional value, if that argument makes sense.
It does.
So it'd be kind of hard. It'd be kind of hard to.
I was saying, I guess the question: had they put themselves, and I think you're answering already, but had they put themselves in the position to take BPA, best player available? Within reason.
Yeah. I think they have, but I think those positions that James pointed out there, that's got to be in the conversation there.
Right.
I mean, to me, I don't know that I don't think that they will go tight end in the first round. I think this is a deep enough class. Yeah. I think the Irv Smith signing lessened the desperation there. Mm-hmm. So I think that's probably going to be, again, one of those positions you see picked before the conclusion of night 2. So I would not be surprised if your first pick is an offensive tackle or a corner. Those just seem to be the premium positions the Bengals like to pick in that first round. So I kind of trend towards those positions, but again,
I'd also
an
throw
interesting,
defense liner. I'd also throw
yeah,
defense liner
yeah,
edge there. I mean, if there's
yeah,
a good guy drops there, because I'll give Coach Cam the credit on this, and he says one of the biggest problems in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs is we couldn't get pressure on Mahomes. Like we could get pressure on the sides, but we couldn't get anything up the middle. So you got to be able to protect the quarterback, and you got to be able to hit the quarterback. And we really couldn't do either one of them to enough in the AFC Championship game. So for me, I think it's either if there's a defensive interior lineman that drops, I think they might take him first. I might go for the right tackle just because of the uncertainty, and I'm tired of watching Joe get hit. But I think the Bengals might go defense there, to be honest. If depends on how the draft falls. That's just my opinion.
yeah. No, I'm in agreement with you. And again, I think at this point, and as it often is with the Bengals, it's who's there.
Right.
And the other element to it is also, usually in the mid, you have a couple of premier players that go within the top 10, your top positional players and whatnot. But then you go into the teens and the 20s, and that's where runs on particular positions begin to happen, and offensive tackle is usually one of them, right? You see in the mid-teens into the mid-20s, you kind of see a run on other offensive tackles that are known as some of the better in the class. Same thing with wide receiver, that tends to happen a bit as well. And then depending on who's there on the defensive line, that's also kind of there. Corner, there kind of becomes a run there. So you don't see really the runs on safeties and tight ends and all that kind of stuff in that middle, late first round spot. So that's going to play into the equation if the Bengals are like, man, we're seeing too many tackles go right now. We gotta get on the
jump on it.
Yeah. That's kind of what happened. Sorry to interrupt. That's kind of what happened a couple of years ago with Jackson Carman. They were like, oh gosh, we got to, we got to get on this.
Well, there's always a run on something. And I think for some reason, I think it's either be tight end or defensive line guys, interior or edge. That's kind of for some reason, I just think that's going to be the run this year. Maybe I'm wrong, which I've been wrong a lot. So it won't be the first time. All right. So speaking of tight end here, Mark, wants a tight end. Who you got? The one at Georgia, which is my boy Pork Chop's favorite one. Notre Dame, the local boy, or Kincaid, Utah, injured. But he's starting to come up in the board. What do you want? Right? I mean, what do you want? Do you want a massive dude who might be a little bit of a developmental project, which is the kid from Georgia? Do you want the all-around tight end that can block pretty well, can catch pretty well? Maybe not absolute, Tony Gonzalez type of player, but just a guy who's an all-around guy. That's Mayer from Notre Dame. Or do you want a guy that you can line up in the slot and have an additional weapon and be a real red zone attack, but not really help you out much as a blocker? That's Kincaid. So it's kind of choose your flavor. Right.
I have a soft spot for Dalton Kincaid because I saw him make really, really special plays as a receiver. And he's a guy that lined up as an H-back at times, lined up in the slot. They did line him up in line, just, not really capable as a blocker. Maybe you can bulk him up a little bit and teach him up. But I don't think he's ever going to be that guy. He's going to be kind of the slot weapon. He's going to be a guy you split out and do different things with. And to me, if you feel that you have shored up your offensive line, with who you either currently have in the building or what have you, I think, Dalton Kincaid makes a lot of sense as another weapon in this offense.
Back injury.
I'm worried about a lot of things with him. Yeah. I'm worried about I'm worried about the lack of blocking, and I'm worried about the back stuff. I'm worried about him not, testing or working out this spring, all of that. But again, if you're asking, let's say the Bengals get a tackle in the first round, a right tackle of the future, and then you're going, wow, that offensive line is pretty well fortified. Dalton Kincaid sitting there potentially at the back of a second round.
Right.
I don't know, man. You're sitting here saying, dang, let's kind of go for it here. I like all three of those guys. I really do. They all just bring different stuff.
Things. Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's what's so interesting about where the Bengals have picked the last 2 years, because it's just depends on which way the draft goes. That's what's so fun and also so frustrating about it at all. Now, another question here. My boy Greg from Rally Around the Natty has been going nuts for like the last 2 weeks, going hashtag Zeke Natty, hashtag this. And I told him, I was like, look, dude, if we sign Zeke, you got to do a half shirt. So I'm going to get Gotham here. Still wants to know, would you sign Zeke? Where are you at on that? I'm saying back up to P-Ryan.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the needle moving move that a lot of people are making it up to be. I think it makes sense. He actually is a pretty good blocking back.
Yeah,
he's a guy who has kind of turned into a nice short yardage back, or a guy that just kind of can move the chains. The breakaway speed that you saw the first couple of years is gone.
Yeah.
I think if my deal was, I forget who I said this to, but my deal was if the price makes sense, the contract makes sense, then sure, why not? But at the same time, I think, again, the emphasis for the Bengals needs to be younger, more speed. As the year went on, you saw sometimes where and the Chiefs proved it. The Eagles proved it. They have team speed. And that's why Kincaid, even though he didn't test, him being able to stretch the field and do different things, that's why he intrigues me. That's why getting a running back maybe – by round 4 intrigues me as well.
Which that's where I think, Anthony, I don't think the Bengals are going to sign anybody as far as running back. I think they're going to start looking at running back round 4, round 5. That's where I just it feels that way, because they've P. Ryan, I think they wanted to sign. I think that one messed up. And now they got Mixon. Like, we're not going to let Mixon go because they know what Mixon can do. They have Travion Williams, who, me personally, I think Travion is a good player and he hasn't been able to get his chances. He's, from what I've read, there's no PFF or anything on this. I think he's a fairly decent blocker. He's been good at kick returning and stuff like that. He could be a good backup. But if you get somebody in the later rounds, like the Chiefs, I hate to reference the Chiefs, but that's what they did last year. They got the running back in the 5th round, 6th round, the one that they're starting one. So I mean, you can find it.
Yeah, I mean, you can find guys all over now. I mean, obviously, the later you wait, I mean, there's gonna be guys that aren't complete backs, or what you may or may not be looking for. You're talking about Isaiah Pacheco. I think he was a 7th round guy. If that's who you're referencing.
Yes. Pacheco, yes.
Yeah. And obviously he's not he's kind of a little bit of a gadget back, but I mean, he was an effective player for him and did what they needed him to do in the offense. So it's, again, what are you looking for in a back? Are you looking for a Mixon replacement as your go-to guy? If so, that's probably going to be a night 2 pick. Are you looking for the complementary guy that what P. Ryan did, maybe a guy who gives you a little extra, and maybe as a kickoff returner, if you're moving on from Chris Evans, then that's going to be a day 3 guy. And maybe even 2 picks, depending on how the draft falls later on too, and how many picks you end up collecting, if any, that weekend. So it's just, what do you want? And if you're the Bengals, I think if they're moving on from Joe Mixon, I think we can say round 2 is going to be that's just where they always draft that next running back, that next bell cow running back. You can go to Jeremy Hill, Joe Mixon himself, Corey Dillon. Round 2 is where they get their running backs that they want to give a lot of snaps to, if they're looking for a starter or a split starting situation.
Right. Now, that brings you to the other thing that's blown up Twitter is, Mixon, are you going to keep him, restructure him, cut him? At this point, they're not doing anything with him until after the draft, I think. And I still think they're keeping him. And I think they might keep him at the money he's at right now. I just, the way with P-Ron leaving, I think if they signed Samaje, I think Mixon was gone. They didn't sign him. He went to Denver. And so that's where I'm at. Where are you at on Mixon? I guess I would love to restructure him. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think, like I said, right now, at this point, what is the date? March 27th, 28th, whatever the date is. I think they're keeping him. It could change by the draft, but where are you at on Mixon?
Initially, without knowing a ton of the details surrounding a couple of different not so great stories with him this year, I kind of was like, this is probably, depending, I mean, if they went the other way with it, meaning, there was fire with the smoke type of thing, I guess I would have, been pretty inclined to be like, all right, it's time to move in another direction. Obviously that has since been, I guess, at least partially debunked, both of the scenarios. So I guess you can play some wait and see there. I think, again, the Bengals kind of have some leverage there because they don't have they can designate him as a post June 1st cut, even if they cut him before that, or they can wait, the whole deal. So they've got a little bit of leverage there. And so I would, again, kind of see how the draft plays out. There were some, I think it was Elizabeth Blackburn at the owners meetings, kind of made a somewhat non-committal statement. Made a pretty non-committal comment to Joe Mixon and his future there. I think if, again, maybe if a Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs or someone falls a little further than they think or than they expected, maybe that's enough to pull the trigger there. I don't know. But, I don't think they are tethered to him at this point in time, nor should they be. And I think in a perfect world, I know there's been some divisive stuff on Twitter about
a little bit this week.
I mean, I'm kind of like, it's like either what is it, the mixies or the cutters, right?
Yeah,
I'm kind of like,
that's them.
Can I be a mixie cut the contract? Can I be both? I mean, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm with you. I'm kind of like, hey, if that deal needs to be restructured.
That's my
needs to be.
It's nothing as Mixon. $17 million is a lot of money to pay a freaking running back. So I more restructure. I would rather keep Joe, but I have no idea what the Bengals are going to do, to be honest. I mean, as far as Joe goes, I don't know what they're going to do. It's because I think the Samaje thing really messed them up, to be honest. That's my opinion.
Right. I'm in agreement with you there. Yeah.
All right. So I got to throw this one out here. So John says, Chris Jones from the Chiefs will be a free agent next year. You think we have a chance of grabbing him in the future? No clue.
Sure. You want to know why? Because the Bengals have made a point to stick it to the Chiefs. They have made it a point.
There you go, AC. I'm talking about.
And so, yes, I think they could be very well into the mix. And will Chris Jones want to do that based on all kinds of things he said and did this last year about the Bengals? I don't know. But, hey, I mean, they grabbed Orlando. That's honestly that the Orlando Brown signing. Not only is it like, hey, talented left tackle, cool guy, it should be an improvement on the offensive line, all of that. But I love lessening a rival's roster.
Exactly.
That's why I absolutely loved the Mike Hilton signing, because it just you knew the Steelers really liked that player, and it's like we're gonna make you hurt by losing this player, and then not only that, you lose the player, but then he's coming to our team, and you got to face him twice a year. I love that, and that's another reason why I love this Chiefs Bengals thing going on, and the Brown signing.
Oh, so much fun. Which I have to ask you this, which I'll like. Okay, I when we signed Orlando Brown, full disclosure, I work at UPS. It's right down the road from Paycor Stadium. So I did a video from my truck cheering like, "We got Orlando Brown! This is awesome!" Did not tag a Chiefs fan at all. Didn't say hashtag Chiefs. Didn't say nothing. AC, I got so much hate from Chiefs fans. They're going, "Oh, we beat you in the AFC Championship game. You guys are garbage." Blah, blah. I'm like, bro.
Also, I don't know if you heard the Chiefs fans now, the guy that they wanted to have re-signed back, Orlando Brown Jr., now all of a sudden he can't.
It's garbage.
He can't play football, according to Chiefs fans. Yeah. He suddenly, because he became a Bengals offensive tackle, he suddenly unlearned how to play football. It's just like, oh, bitter party of one. Your table's ready.
What kills me is oh my God, AC, I literally posted this out here, and I just said Jackpot Joey's the best quarterback in the AFC. Chiefs fans, Patrick Mahomes is. I said, man, it must be fun that us Bengals fans live in your head. No, Patrick Mahomes lives yours. I said, you're the one that commented on my tweet. I didn't say a damn word to you guys about it. Like, I'm enjoying it. I don't know.
Ravens fans have been that way until the last couple of days as well.
Shut up.
Oh man, they really got quiet. Yeah.
They've shut up. Anyway, hey, Anthony, I got some couple good guests. I don't know if you've ever had these guys on. They are Scott and Sam. They did the Bulldog to Bengal book. I had them on the show yesterday. I highly recommend you getting them on. If you haven't pre-ordered, if anybody in the chat has not pre-ordered the book, Bulldog to Bengal, go check it out. Sam is the man. He is the dude that put Jackpot Joey at quarterback. He was his Pee-wee coach. So he is the reason
Very cool.
this all happened. So I highly recommend you go get the book. And if you guys haven't seen the show, go check it out in AC. If you want to get them on, I got their emails. I can send it to you.
I appreciate it. I might hit you up for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, they'd be really good. Anyway, AC, dude, you've been on for 54 minutes. I appreciate you because back and forth, I wanted you to come on. Then I had somebody else come on. Then they canceled on me. And then I couldn't do it at 5:30. And anyway.
Well, this worked out time-wise, selfishly speaking. It worked out. It worked out better for me. But I appreciate you always asking me to come on, man. I hope I don't bore you and your listeners to tears. But
no. You're the man, dude.
But
I love when you
anytime I'm able, I will do it.
You and John are awesome. Plug your stuff. You're on Strawberry Ice show because I'm kind of big time. They might not know who you are.
Big time. You are big time.
Not big time at all.
Big
Plug
time
your stuff, man. Before I let you go.
No, CincyJungle.com. That's writing side, and the podcasts are there too. But the show, the Orange and Black Insider, on the Cincy Jungle podcast channel. John Sharon, myself, and a couple others. We're kind of doing some different things. So, and then of course the Cincy Jungle podcast channel. Coach Matt Minnick, he does a show on it, and Bengal Jim, he does a show on it. So, got a couple of different options there. And then John also, unfortunately, just left Cincy Jungle on the writing side. And he said A to Z Sports. So I want to give him a plug for that too. Go check out what he's doing there. Yeah,
absolutely. Real quick, the hat you're wearing. What is it? I've been dying the whole show.
It's an action sports like surf brand. It's called Volcom, Volcom. Yeah, it's kind of a little skate surf company and stuff. And you see the color scheme. So I'm like, hey, what the hell? I'll put it on. Yeah, I
like it a lot, dude. You got to make it a Cincy this year. Got to have a couple of beers.
I'm gonna
have stuff on the tail.
You going to any road games?
I might be going to Tennessee.
Okay.
Jacksonville is one that I'm trying to get to because my wife has family in Tampa, and that's not a bad drive up there. So I'm trying to get a couple of them. I don't have anything hammered down yet, but yeah, I'm trying to.
Okay.
I would love to go to Vegas, for the Super Bowl because we're gonna win this year. So another one. But,
there's a couple finally West Coast ones. I think San Francisco and Arizona. So I'm probably going to go to those. But a couple of those, Jacksonville is one I kind of looked at. Of course, going back to Cincinnati, and then I got to get my ass to Kansas City. Dude, I want to go there. So,
dude, I had so much fun. I mean, I know we lost, but I had so much fun. And honestly, the funny thing, Chiefs fans are fine when you're in the stadium with them. I had no problem with them. The ones on Twitter are crazy.
I believe it.
Anyway, bro. Hey, I appreciate you, bro.
You're the man. Thank you.
You too. Hooday.
All
right, guys. If you don't follow Anthony and you don't follow John, and you don't watch Cincy Jungle, Orange and Black Insider podcast, why the hell not? Go watch him. That dude right there is awesome. I love that dude. He is cool as hell. Him and John always come on the show when I get a chance. I ask them to, so I appreciate them. What did you say, Crip? So Anthony, when you're going to take Carson Palmer pictures down, I didn't get a chance to ask him that one. Yeah, it's still up there. Sorry, I'll try to. Thanks, Crip. I appreciate it. Anyway, let's get to the Facebook groups that let me live stream, and I appreciate every single one of them. They are Houday Nation, Houday Legion, Bearcat Ruckus, Radical Reds, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar, and then you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Strawberry Ice, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trennepohl. TikTok is at Iceman90. I'll be pulling a sign off later on tonight. If you missed any of the show, check out the podcast. It's on Beanpod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Leave a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. YouTubers, we're at 2,168. You guys are awesome. If it wasn't for you guys, know this would happen. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Dude, I've honestly had so many people going, why do you only have that many subscribers? I'm like, I have no idea. You're like, you talk Bengals every day. You have great guests and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. So if you do me a favor, I've been trying to get the algorithm going, figure something out. Tell everybody to subscribe. Go to the YouTube channel, Bengals Talk, Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button. Hit the bell for the notification. I'd appreciate it. Also, dude, seriously, if you guys missed yesterday's show, it was awesome. Sam and Scott are OG legends. I'm telling you, go watch that show. Go buy their book. I've tweeted it out, Bulldog to Bengal. If you want to know anything about Jackpot Joey, go read this book. Order it. It's coming out in April. Order it. Pre-order it. Go find it. It's a great read. I mean, I haven't read the whole book. I've only read inserts they sent me. It's awesome. Go check it out. You can get it on Amazon. Anyway, like I said, it's on my Twitter feeds, on my Facebook, all that stuff. Anyway, that's just sports, baby. See ya!
Talked about it yesterday, just that chip on your shoulder. Everyone talking about a neutral AFC Championship game, not even thinking about you guys. How much did that motivate you coming into this?
You better send those refunds.
I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. We ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. We ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. Back-to-back champs, kings of the north with it. Thinking they can hang with us, still ain't jumped out the porch with it. Long bomb to chase every Sunday, watch him go and get it. Double up on him, then we gon' double down on T. Higgins. Then throw Boyd in the mix, now you really iffy. Every Sunday showing boys how to really gritty. They try to shuffle up the game on us, but they ain't icky. Flip the coin, kick the toe Roger to go and get it. Never know what's gonna happen when Joe drop back. He get shiesty in the pocket, I get shiesty on the track. Nobody on the team all pro, that's all cap. Most all around team in the NFL, that's all fact. Ain't came across nobody yet that seem like they can hang with us. They said we couldn't be Buffalo, but see how we call they bluff. Underdogs every week, they keep on trying to label us. Put your money on us, even if Vegas don't favor us. No matter what, we really came up, now it's hard to fail. I dare you come across that middle, Von gon' ring your bell. I know we under they skin, them boys built frail. Eli Apple out there chirping like a next tail. You don't want Salmon Trey to come off them ends. Reader clogging up the middle like a big body Benz. Right behind them Logan and Pratt, the turnover twins. Jesse Bates in the backfield just to clean up the loose ends. We just drafted Cam and drafted Hill. Instant gratification every time that they on the field. We can't go back to what we was, cause that's the loser way. It's been hard to throw on us since we picked up a Woozy. It's like win after win, feel like we could really do it. Zach Taylor doing his thing for the city, I give it to him. And I bet Samaji will find a hole if you give it to him. Hayden Hurst don't need a hole, he just plan on running through him. Just hand it off to 28 and let him do the dash. Getting hit by BJ Hill probably feel like a car crash. Every week it seem like Lou digging deeper in his bag. And if the game on the line, all my favorite money match. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. And we ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. And we ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up.